Hey, what's shaking, everyone? If you follow my content for any length of time, you're going to realize that I love sports. To be fair, I loved sports, and I really hope to be able to love sports again. But one thing that's always bothered me since I was a little boy is shitty sportscasters. You turn on any broadcast for any baseball game, you get okay, you got a man on second, you're gonna go down third, you're gonna make sure he makes good contact with the fuck off. It's terrible. I can't stand it. The puker voice, the canned lines, it's all horseshit. But what really, crystallized me doing this rant here today is, well, Skip Bayless and all of these fucking floating head idiots. You got Stephen A. Smith, who we'll get to in a minute, and Colin Coward, and there's just no good ones out there. Honestly. I've listened to sports talk before, and it's all just general shades of horseshit. Like, okay, the most popular guys out there, I don't know if he even has a show anymore. Frankly, I couldn't care less. Mike Francesa, oh, you got a credit card holder, okay. He's just a tremendous dunce. These are guys who have a vast swath of information, but they cannot convey it without being sensationalist hacks that have to make the news about themselves, which is exactly what Skip Bayless did here. Okay? We're just going to read this article. This week, Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott admitted in an interview that he'd become depressed in the early stages of the coronavirus pandemic, which occurred roughly concurrent with the April 24th death of his brother Jace, which Prescott said was a suicide. Fairly legitimate reason to be down. Just a compilation of horrible shit that's happened to Dax and, well, everybody at large, so you can relate with him. If your brother or anybody that's close to you decides to end it all, it's going to come as a shock. And it's never happened to me. Hopefully it won't happen to me. Hopefully it won't happen to you watching as well. And I don't know how I'd react to it. And I think this is a pretty atypical reaction to become anxious, become slightly depressed by it. But according to Skip Bayless, just a sensationalist hunk of shit. I don't even think he believes this. I just think that this is made for clicks. This is made for views to bring eyes to his floundering TV show. Occasionally, every once in a while, Shannon Sharp will say something completely fucking retarded, and then their show will pop up in the ratings for a little bit. But all of these morning talk shows are unlistenable. You get your 30-second intervals on topics that could really be explained between two people for minutes or for indefinite amounts of time. If I was to structure a sports channel, there would be as many topics as you want to talk about, with the people who are the most intelligent on those topics being able to discuss them to the greatest lengths that they possibly can, which is why YouTube is such a great forum for these sort of things. Because can you properly break down a 4-3 defense in a 30-second block? Do you think if, let's just say the Lions were to transition from a 4-3 to a 3-4 defense, and you think, oh, I don't know, the great fucking stupid Eric Mangini, who the failure at a coach, a great assistant coach, but a failure as a head coach, would be able to break that down in 20 seconds? My explanation of him not being able to break it down in 20 seconds was longer than 20 seconds, so I digress. Let's just get to what this, I don't know, senseless asshole had to say. So, yeah, we go down here. Yeah, Bayless stated, I'm going to ask our audience to feel free to go ahead and condemn me if you choose as a cold-blooded and insensitive on the issue. I have deep compassion for clinical depression. But when it comes to the quarterback of an NFL team, you know this as well as I, better than I do. It's the ultimate leadership position in sports. Am I right about that? Shannon Sharp with a dim-witted Bayless continued. And you're commanding an entire franchise. What's that roster now? Is it 53? Regardless. Here's where it gets to be retarded. But you're commanding a lot of young men and some older men. And they're looking to you to be their CEO, to be in charge of football team. Because of that, I don't have sympathy for you going public with, I got depressed and suffered from depression, totally minimizing the fact that his brother offed himself early in COVID to the point that he couldn't even go work out. Look, he's a quarterback for America's team. Like, that really fucking matters. You know, and I know, this sport that you play, it's a dog eat dog. There is no It is no compassion. You learn to speak right. No. Pot calling kettle black. No quarter given to you on the football field. If you reveal publicly any little weakness, it can affect you. I've had enough of this tripe horseshit. This is clearly designed to be sensational, and it's clearly designed for people to react to it like I'm doing right now. I understand the hypocrisy in that, but I had to use this asshole as a framing device for the reason to make this video. And another sensationalist asshole who is even more popular is of course it's Stephen A. Smith, who said that Steve Nash, a 2-time MVP, a man who's not necessarily physically gifted, a man who's all of 6 and change tall, who bounced around from the Dallas Mavericks behind Jason Kidd to finally getting the spotlight and becoming that MVP Hall of Fame caliber player in Phoenix. He is a tremendous example of what a great work ethic can do for you. And he will probably be a great coach because he has an extensive he has an extensive history of training. He has his own gym in Vancouver. And he's been in a leadership role with Basketball Canada now for the better part of a decade. So if there's anybody that you are to just pluck out of obscurity who is a former player, I could not imagine a better fit for that role than Steve Nash. And I am in search of great broadcasters, okay? Just somebody that you can listen to their opinions, and obviously you aren't going to share every opinion with everybody. If you share even 90% of your opinion with somebody, that's a rare find. And Charles Barkley for me fits that. He has been right on the money for a lot of things. And every time that he comes out and has an opposing to the mainstream narrative opinion, he immediately gets smeared with every old, oh, he lost all of his money gambling. Oh, he was fat on the court. But they never can dispute the points that he makes. He's a very smart guy with a terrible golf swing. I know, easy joke. But let's just break down what Charles Barkley had to say on Stephen A. Smith's stupid assertion of white privilege. Charles Barkley made it known that he was very disappointed in some of the reactions to the Brooklyn Nets hiring Steve Nash. Nash being named the Nets head coach on Thursday was a surprise, with pundits pointing to a lack of experience. Just because he hasn't been officially a coach at the NBA level doesn't mean that a point guard, the guy who runs the offense and defense on the floor at all times, doesn't have coaching experience. Fucking brain dead. ESPN analyst Stephen A. Smith chose to portray his hire as a case of white privilege, pointing to a number of black candidates, including former interim coach Jacques Vaughn, who was clearly doing a great job beforehand. He wasn't. Who were passed over. Again, these are just takes using buzzwords in order to get promotion. The last time Stephen A. Smith was in similar light was when he said that Donald Cerrone had no reason to be in the same ring as Conor McGregor. Donald Cerrone is a world-class fighter. Stephen A. Smith says things to get publicity for himself. And that's my biggest problem with modern day broadcasters. They make it about themselves. It's impossible to listen to baseball games, football games, especially wrestling, if you have the broadcast team turned on. Make it about the people on the field. Make it about the stories that they are telling at the time to keep your audience engaged. If you're a floating head on a panel, make it about the analysis. It doesn't have to be sensational all the time. It rarely has to be entertaining. It needs to be informative. And that's all I want. And I'm sure that's what everybody else would appreciate. I could go on for hours, but I just want to keep this short. I just want to keep this brief. I'll be revisiting this topic many, many times in the future, trust me. But I needed to get that off my chest because I seen that stupid Skip Bayless comment and Stephen A. Smith's retarded assertions. And I had to make this public. So, anyways, guys, if you appreciate everything that I do, if you like my opinions, hey, if you agree with them 90% of the time, thanks for watching. And if you could just drop me a sub, that would greatly appreciate it. It'd validate my existence here on YouTube. As well, if you could just hit that like button, it puts you out nothing, and it, really motivates me to continue to do this. And hey, even if you don't, I'm still going to continue to do this, and I'll continue to get better as well. Anyways, guys, I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.